I'm just going to put a counter every time a female protagonist shows up, and I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it did not deserve it. If you watch that stream, it is a very mediocre game. People compare it to, oh man, it's just like PS2 action-adventure games. It's like Ratchet and Clank or Jak and Daxter. No, it's nothing like those. It's a very mediocre action platformer that is sold entirely on its graphical style. Then we get an ad break. I'm not going to glorify it as anything other than that. Then we get a teaser for a Wonder Woman game. No comment, because of course no gameplay is shown. Another one for the counter, I guess. Then we finally get to the next category, which is Best Performance, which is read out by Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey, and we are reminded that they voiced two of the worst characters in video game history. Next up, we're showing some vertical slice gameplay for the next Horizon game, and it's sad that this is probably the closest thing to uncut gameplay shown in the entire presentation, and even then, it's not real gameplay. It cuts to a new scene like every 5 seconds. And in case you're curious, no, I'm not excited for this game. The first game wasn't that good. Yet another overrated Sony exclusive. Fortunately, I guess, the winner is Returnal, which I don't have a PS5, so I didn't play it, sadly, but I heard it was good, whatever. But it does have a female protagonist, so. And I don't care if you believe it or not, I went through the footage, this is the final count.
Rockstar Games was always the studio that did not give a single shit, and they showed it to you in every single game. Until now. Rockstar's GTA 6 is one of the most anticipated games ever. Despite the hype, the studio has been incredibly tight-lipped for almost a decade now. But a new report by Bloomberg offers big new details, including that the game will feature the series' first ever playable woman protagonist. According to Bloomberg, GTA 6 will star a pair of characters loosely inspired by the infamous robber duo Bonnie and Clyde. The female character will be Latina, and the game's story will take place in a fictional version of Miami, aka Vice City. I think what they meant to say there was Latinx. Someone should make that typo correction. Oops. So this seems pretty lame, right? And when I say this seems pretty lame, I'm talking about the theme only, all right? We'll get to the rest of it in a minute, but based off of Bonnie and Clyde? What? Why on earth would I want to follow around some whack-ass love story when I'm trying to go out and wreak havoc on society in a video game, right? Just in a video game. Why would I give a shit about that? Bonnie and Clyde is such an old story. It's been paid tribute to in so many video games, movies, TV shows, like media of all sorts. It's nothing new. Usually when GTA comes out, the story is extremely groundbreaking and it's like mind-blowing, and I don't know, nothing about this sounds groundbreaking to me. Bloomberg reports that in addition to trying to improve working conditions internally, the studio is also trying to be more culturally sensitive, especially since the American culture has become, as the article puts it, a parody of itself in modern times. GTA games, parodies of American culture dialed up to 11, have been criticized in the past for their misogynistic treatment of women and offensive jokes that target marginalized communities. A playable female lead is apparently part of trying to address that. In what fucking world does this right your wrongs? Honestly, please answer that question for me. Hooray, guys, we did it. We cured sexism. Now, when you go around killing cops and hookers, dealing drugs, opening fire on crowds in public places in this video game, it's all good now, because it's a female lead. We're so sorry that we made all those bad jokes years ago, in an attempt, by the way, to bring them to light, right? Because that's what GTA games do. They show you how fucked up the world is, and they do it in a funny, entertaining way that makes parody of it. But we're so sorry that we did that. We said those bad things and made those horrible jokes. So here's a woman character and a whole bunch of other bullshit to go along with it.
fighting things. The other 80% was either incredibly boring or insulting to both my intelligence and my masculinity, and I think that was the intention. I've said it once and I'll say it again, games are not made for gamers anymore, and they're slowly trying to not make them for men anymore either, at least not catering to men's tastes. They're trying to make games, quote unquote, for everyone. There is no such thing. You cannot make a good game that also appeals to everybody. You just can't. You can make a mediocre game that does that, and many exist. But a good game caters to a specific audience. And unfortunately, they do not want the God of War audience.